What's up, y'all? The Dallas Mavericks have turned into the laughing stock of the NBA. As someone who has watched every single possession for Dallas this season, it is just not looking great. And starting out going back to February 2nd, 2025, Nico Harrison makes the worst trade in sports history, where the whole league, the whole world knew about this trade and how bad it was. Where the Lakers receive Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris, and the Mavericks receive Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 Lakers first round pick. And Luka Doncic, who is a 25-year-old superstar, 5 times first All NBA, 5 in a row after winning Rookie of the Year, coming off of a scoring title, third in MVP, and a finals appearance, traded for a 31-year-old injury-prone Anthony Davis and only one first-round pick whenever the Lakers did have 2031 that they ended up using in the Mark Williams trade that didn't go through. And Nico Harrison did not let any of the 28 other teams know that Luka Doncic was available. Everyone was taken by shock. People thought that Shams got hacked during this announcement. And the main thing is that Luka Doncic, there's only a few people that you could trade him for that would make Dallas fans happy. Between maybe Jokic might be able to, be a good trade for Dallas fans, because he's just a super young superstar. Who Anthony Davis is a great player and has been a great player, but he was 31 at the time, and he's already known to have struggles with his health. So trading a 25-year-old, 5-time first team All NBA for a injury-prone 31-year-old, it's between like Jokic, maybe Anthony Edwards, but even that is a stretch because Luka Doncic is just so good. And so in 2025, Anthony Davis only played 9 games for the Mavericks after he was traded on the 2nd. And Luka Doncic ended up playing 28 for the Lakers. So you already saw finishing that season that Anthony Davis is just always hurt. And then February 4th, Nico Harrison also trades Quentin Grimes and a 2025 second-round pick to Philly for Caleb Martin. So far this season, Grimes is averaging 17 points, 5 assists, and 40% from 3 for the Philadelphia 76ers, who are number 1 in the East. And Caleb Martin is averaging 2 points on 25% from 3 for the Mavericks. And this trade, it can be looked at as really bad. Maybe Nico Harrison didn't want to find out the money he wanted to pay Quentin Grimes. It was an expiring deal. That's why I think he had to attach a second-round pick to it. So it is not the worst trade. But the fact that he's averaging 17 points, shooting 40% whenever we need that offensive boost, and Caleb is shooting 2 points on 25%, and he does not get that many minutes a game. On March 3rd, Kyrie Irving tears his ACL versus the Kings. So the only hope left for the Dallas Mavericks fans was Kyrie Irving, and then he ends up being out for the rest of the 2025 season, and we don't know when he will be back for this 2026 season. The Dallas Mavericks ended up having so many injuries that we almost had to forfeit games because there was not enough eligible players. You had to have like 7 or 8 eligible players, and we just did not because we were so hurt between Derek Lively, even Klay Thompson, obviously Kyrie Irving out with his ACL. And then May 12th, the Dallas Mavericks win the draft lottery with a 1.6 chance. Conspiracies aside, we won. Okay. So then you finally have hope, right? Because you see, everyone's talked about how Cooper Flag is this generational talent. He's the best prospect since LeBron. So you really have hope in Dallas now. And so throughout the offseason, you kind of talk yourself up on how good this Dallas Mavericks team will be. At the beginning of the playoffs last year, where we didn't make the playoffs at all, we ended up losing in the play-in. People were like, this Dallas Mavericks team is not really going to be on anything next season. But then we end up getting Cooper Flag. So you think Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving eventually, this team might actually be able to make a postseason appearance at least between the play-in or maybe even being in a playoff spot. So you finally have hope in Dallas, which obviously it is not the same hope as a coming off of a finals appearance with Luka Doncic, but at least you have something instead of having to go watch Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, and Klay Thompson out there. And so now to the 2025 season, during the first game, we go against the Spurs, and Wemby gives you 40, 15 on 0 turnovers on Anthony Davis, who is one of the best defenders of our generation, and Derek Lively, who is another 7-foot shot blocker. And this lineup was constructed to deter at least and give Wemby troubles, but he still ended up with 40 and 15. And Cooper Flagg, who was just not really living up to expectations in the first game. Obviously, he was hyped up because he was coming to Dallas and because we really needed him to show something in this first game. So, you expect he'd get better after this first game, and he has improved a little bit, but still not where you want him to be. And then game 2, we ended up losing to the Washington Wizards. And this was a real game where, obviously, versus the Spurs, it's understandable because Wemby is looked at to be an MVP candidate this year. But this team should beat the Washington Wizards. And you start to see how bad our offense really is in this game, where we end with 21 turnovers, and Keyshawn George gives us 30. It's just not a good game to lose while you don't know what you're getting from this Dallas Mavericks team. Game 3, we win versus Toronto, which was pretty shaky at the start, where we were turning the ball over, and then we ended up getting it together and really being able to stop them defensively and get our own offensively. So we end up winning that game. Game 4 is a 2-point win versus the 0-3 Indiana Pacers, who were missing 3 of their starters. This game was not good. This game did not look pretty at all. It should not have came to an Aaron Nesmith 3 to win the game, where Aaron Nesmith, thankfully, he was not getting it going this game, but he is one of the best shooters on this Indiana Pacers roster. He ended up saving them in the playoffs last year. So the fact that it went down to a Aaron Nesmith 3 and he just happened to lose and not have it going this game is not what you want to see. This game was another game like the Washington Wizards game where you really see what this Dallas Mavericks team is going to be like. You wanted them to blow out this 0-3 Pacers team who did not have Benedict Mathurin, who did not have Andrew Nembhard, obviously did not have Tyrese Halliburton. So you really wanted to see them show out and be able to beat this team, and we barely beat them by 2 points on a lucky Aaron Nesmith bad 3-point game. The next is loss to the Pistons and loss to Houston. We were in these games until the fourth quarter where you saw it's just open shots that we are missing, and that's really the problem. In both of these games, it was close through 3 quarters, even 3.5 quarters. But Dallas has just not been able to close out game. And whenever your number one option is Cooper Flagg, who is just a rookie, you're going to really struggle in the clutch and not be able to close out these games. And that's what happened here. Last night, we lose to the Pelicans. And this was another one like the Washington Wizards, like the Indiana Pacers, where you really want to see Dallas come out and blow this team out the water. They are on a second night of a back-to-back. They got their first win versus Charlotte yesterday, where they barely got that win. So they're on their second night of back-to-back. No Zion Williamson, no Jordan Poole, while the Mavericks did not have Derek Lively or Anthony Davis. But still, you have a good Mavericks roster versus a 1-6 Pelicans who ended up getting their first win yesterday, and they do not have their 2 best players. So you really want to see Dallas turn it up and just win this game at least. Even just a win would be enough, but we end up losing. And you see Dallas continues to have horrible offense. We only scored 99 points, where this Pelicans team is not looked at as a great defensive team. But the Pelicans also have a really bad offense, which I was trying to figure out if it was a good Dallas defense or a bad Pelicans offense, but especially watching the game the night before versus whenever they faced the Hornets, you saw this Pelicans offense is just not good. And Dallas does have a great defense, but you want to win this game with your defense at least, but Dallas could just not make shots at the other end on stops. And so overall stats this season for Dallas: Anthony Davis is already day-to-day. Derek Lively has been hurt for like over half the games this season. And right now, the Dallas Mavericks are 30th in points per game, which this is going through all NBA teams. So 1 through 30, Dallas Mavericks are last in points per game. Dallas Mavericks are last in offensive rating. They are last in offensive rebounding. They are 28th in effective field goal percentage. They're 28th in shooting at the rim and 28th in 3-point shooting. No good point guard play is just the death to this Dallas Mavericks team. Cooper Flag cannot come in as a rookie, no matter how much he is hyped up, and be our point guard. D'Angelo Russell has good nights and off nights almost every single time. So you really don't want to rely on him either. We need Kyrie Irving back. There was a great point guard that we had, and now we have Anthony Davis. So this Mavericks team is really struggling because there is no good point guard play there, and the defense has looked great. Cooper Flag is looked at as this defensive guy, and he has been showing out defensively. I think our defense is really good. Unfortunately, it does not win championships or win games, apparently. So, the defense has looked great, but we're 30th in offense, so it does not help. Our defense is good, but our offense is so bad that it's not like they can equal out somewhere, because that offense is just so bad. And we are starting 2-6, and there is really no optimism for this team. Even with Anthony Davis playing, you did not look great. Even with Derek Lively playing, we did not look spectacular. We don't know when Kyrie Irving's coming back. There's rumors that he's coming back at the end of this year and not in 2026. But we don't know. And even if Kyrie Irving does come back, what is the ceiling for this Dallas Mavericks team? Is it going to be a eventual play-in or playoff spot? But we are last in our conference right now. The Washington Wizards, we're tied with the Washington Wizards and the New Orleans Pelicans for last in the Western Conference. So is there even a way, if Kyrie Irving comes back, is he that impactful that he will be able to will us to a play-in spot or 10th in the West? And this West is just only getting better between the Portland Trailblazers, who I think will make a postseason run, or at least a postseason appearance. So it's like, is it enough for this Dallas Mavericks team to be able to come out and win? So I really just don't know where this Dallas Mavericks team will go or what we will look like within the next couple of months, even the next year. So I want y'all to let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe.